I used to be made fun of because of my running style, which is quite different. People walk differently, people also run differently. Some people run and sprint dramatically different in terms of their technique, and my style was dramatically different. So when I was a kid and I was running, people used to say, you look really funny when you run. And obviously, as a kid, you take that kind of criticism, and it's not taken too well. But I learned early on that I was fast, and so my comeback was always, you look really slow when you run. And I was able to fend off the critics very early in my career. You can tell if a person really, truly has the desire. You can tell when a person decides, hey, yeah, that's an area that I'm not very good at, but I'm going to attack it with everything that I have, or if they keep trying to make an excuse why they need to go around that area to be successful. And so, you make your determination based on those things as to, who to continue to work with. And when and if I determine, and there have been certainly situations with some of my employees where I know that they have the ability and I know that they have the desire, it's then working with them and trying to get them to figure out themselves how to get the best performance from themselves. That's when people ask me, what do you miss? That's the one area, as strange as it sounds kind of diabolical, that's the moment I miss. That's the one area that I miss when in the call room with 7 other guys there, we all want to win, and only one of us can, and somebody's going to win in a very short time. And that's what I miss. But that's because in that moment, I felt confident in my ability because you back away from that, 2 years before, 2 months before, are you doing everything that you possibly can to be prepared for that moment? I knew that 2 years before and 2 months before, and so every day I was reminded of that I need to do everything that I possibly can to be prepared for that moment, because the nerves come from feeling like, well, no, I haven't done everything. And if you get to that moment and that question is going to come and you can't answer, absolutely, I've done everything that I possibly could do to be prepared for this moment. If that's not the answer, then yeah, you're going to be a nervous wreck. And there's really nothing you can do at that point. So it's developing a strategy to deal with the nerves, but it's also doing everything you can before that time. So keeping yourself focused on the task at hand comes from, developing a strategy that works for you. I would be in that call room and there'd be guys kind of walking around and they're trying to distract you, and there are going to be distractions. You have to be able to recognize when the distraction comes, recognize that it is a distraction, and then take something. You can't just say, don't focus on that, because then you're going to focus on that. You have to then focus on something else. For me, that was always going back and running my race again in my mind. I probably ran each race. For every one real race I ran, I probably ran it 10,000 times in my mind. In the book, I interviewed Daley Thompson, and Daley's a good friend of mine, decathlete, Olympic champion, and we talked about, I asked him, did you sacrifice? Because athletes were always asked about that. And we started to talk about that, and we both realized, and I had been saying forever, when people ask me that, no, I never sacrificed. I had a great life, when I was competing and training every day. But then the more I thought about it in that conversation, yeah, I missed lots of birthdays. I missed lots of parties and, different things. It just didn't feel like a sacrifice. When you're really, truly driven and committed to what you want and to your goals, then that's just the way you see it. You don't see it as a sacrifice. I trained Monday to Saturday. If Christmas fell on a Thursday, that was a Thursday. It's not Christmas, it's Thursday. And I truly could have won the medals running a lot slower than I did. That sounds arrogant, and it is. But it's fact. I'm just giving you the facts. So, but then this comes from, I was able to break world records. I probably wouldn't be a 13-time Olympic and world champion as I am if it wasn't for the ability to go beyond just hard work and dedication and commitment. It's those things that we as athletes who have achieved at the highest level are able to do that separates us from being a good athlete. And many of the things that you probably hear, that we all hear, that the kind of motivational world is full of, Those things are, that's not really about greatness. You can be good with that. If you work hard and you're dedicated and you're committed, which I'm sure everyone in this room is, then you can be good. But everybody wants to be great. If you want to be better than normal, if you want to be extraordinary, then there are some other things that you have to do. The major difference, and I didn't realize this until years later, is that I don't wake up every day now extraordinarily gifted to do what I do. This is not something that I was born to do. I was born to sprint. And so I now realize just how fortunate I was to wake up every day as a sprinter knowing that this is what I'm extraordinarily gifted to do. It's an amazing advantage, and it's not, I learned that it's not easy being a normal person. So.